Thank you for joining us now on Business Now. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the reports we're filing at this time. The federal government is targeting 6.3% rate, 7% economic growth, and 0.3% poverty rate by 2050. This was disclosed by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, during a pre-national economic summit press conference held in Abuja on Wednesday. Agba said the Nigeria Agenda 2050, which was developed by the current administration, was designed to transform the country into an upper middle income developing country with a per capita income of $33,000. On the other hand, he said the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 had the vision to unlock the potential of the country in all sectors of the economy for sustainable, holistic and inclusive national development. He said the Nigeria Agenda 2050 will be implemented through a series of medium-term plans and annual budgets. He said sustained growth was key to eradication of poverty. And in the meantime, the Nigerian government said it's budgeted the sum of 532.7 billion naira for the 2023 National Housing and Population Census scheduled for April 2023. This was disclosed by the chairman of the National Population Commission (NPC), Nasiru Kwara, on Wednesday while speaking during the 2023 budget defense before the Senate Committee on National Identity Card and National Population Commission. Kwara explained that the budget is to ensure that the federal government can complete the conduct of the census as well as the post-enumeration survey and all other post-census activities. He also added that the 2023 national census will mark a great departure from the past as it will be keen into the issue of climate change. And now Nigeria is facing low home ownership as the country is facing a housing deficit up to 25 million. This was disclosed by a property expert and real estate investor, Babatope Aguntasolo, on iBrandTV's Business Breakfast on Thursday. According to him, the country's demand is outweighing its supply, and this is widening the gap.
We have 25 million housing deficit in Nigeria, and the demand is high on a daily basis. And I will always say this, that as far as Nigeria is concerned today, the supply will never meet the demand based on the cost of inflation, because the cost of the inflation in the country has affected a lot of people to even purchase a property, because a salary earner hasn't received increment in salary, but the cost of inflation has eaten deep into the property market to the extent that the price of property has increased, so he won't be able to afford that property. So that will be a tug of war for a lot of people. Even the rich are also complaining. So it is not about the middle income earner alone. It is not about the poor income earner alone. It is now about everybody. And just like what you said, the property market, as for the past 20 years, there is always housing deficit in Nigeria. 20 years ago, it was 16 million, but now it's now 25 million. I imagine what will happen in the next five years if this trend is what we are still having. So there will always be housing deficits. So what we advise a lot of people to do is that, number one, they should buy distressed property. That is number one. Number two is that they should move outside the urban area, because a lot of people want to stay in Lagos. Lagos is overpopulated.
And now the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Wednesday said it discovered about 295 illegal connections to its pipeline. NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari made his disclosure at the Legislative Transparency and Accountability Summit in Abuja. The summit, which was organized by the House of Representatives Anti-Corruption Committee with the theme Enhancing Transparency and Accountability in the Oil and Gas Sector. Kyari said as a result of oil theft, production equally came down to about 1.1 million barrels from 1.8 million in January of last year. And now Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun on Wednesday disclosed that Gasoline Integrated International expressed its readiness to build a 3 billion naira refinery in Tongeji Island, Ipokia local government area of the state. The governor's chief press secretary, Kunle Somori, in a statement disclosed that the chairman of the company, Lukman Bolaji, said the refinery, when completed, would be refining about 400,000 liters of crude into petrol per day. The refinery, he explained, will be located at Ipokia and will refine about 100,000 liters per day and other petroleum products at the beginning, and later expanded to around 400,000 liters per day in the future. He said, quote, the project will sit on 800 hectares of land that had already been acquired. The project, which will be delivered in 36 months, will generate 110 megawatts of electricity, starting with 37 megawatts. He stated that about 10,000 direct and indirect employment will be generated. Now, the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria have said that unauthorized fees and levies, as well as the inability to access foreign exchange by dealers, are the issues hindering the supply and distribution of premium motor spirit. DAPMAN Chairman Winfred Akpani, in an interview with newsmen, said the burden of sourcing forex through the parallel market for transactions domiciled in Nigeria had left petroleum marketers in their strait. Akpani noted that in addition to core operational expenses that were denominated in dollars, petroleum marketers were also contending with sourcing funds from the parallel market to pay for fees and levies that were charged in dollars. She said port dues were charged in dollars by the Nigerian Port Authority and Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, as she put the amount at 71.5 million naira at the official foreign exchange rate and 143 million naira for marketers who source forex from the parallel market. Akpani called on the government to establish a level playing field in the sector by giving petroleum marketers access to forex at the CBN exchange rate. And in the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari says there is no going back on the planned redesign of the 1,500 naira and 200 naira banknotes, adding that politicians won't be allowed to mobilize resources and thugs to intimidate voters in the 2023 general elections. The president made this known on Wednesday in an interview in the United Kingdom after meeting with His Royal Majesty King Charles III in Buckingham Palace. Buhari also said enough time has been given by the Central Bank of Nigeria for Nigerians to deposit the present naira notes at banks in exchange for the newly redesigned ones, which will be issued by December 15, 2022. He also said the policy announced by the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele on October 26 this year has come to stay.